We're going to continue on with the aerial yoga play, prenatal, and we're going to work with our swing in chillaxin pose. So in chillaxin, we want to put the swing behind our back and then get the leg loops behind our knees. And the way we're going to enter this is through our sumo, which is our number one seated position. This is how we access all the poses. So we're standing in the center of the mat and we're pressing the swing down all the way to the lower ribs to get started. And then we're going to hold on and lean back, nice and gentle. And then we're going to slide in. When we slide in, we let our feet touch the front of the mat, forearm press, drop the hips straight down so the tailbone is pointing down to the center of the mat. And then we can heel toe our feet wide to 10 and 2. Just a little review of that one. So we're letting our hips hang and our heart is lifted. So we're engaged with our arms. We keep the upper body strong as the lower body. We allow the hips to drop. Then we're going to always hug the swing. And once we hug the swing, we're going to reach around and grab for the leg loops. Let's do a little bit of core activation here. We have to pick our foot up, turn the knee out to the side, and help the leg loop on. Right? So we get the leg loop to slide up behind the knee. Good. Now we're going to do the same thing. So we grab for the leg loop with both hands, pull that down so it's nice and strong, and then same hand as foot. Pick up the foot, bend the knee up to the side, and get the leg loop on. Yeah, that might get harder as you get further along in your pregnancy. But just use a helping hand whenever you need to get the leg loops on. And then we're gently going to rock from side to side. So in chillaxin, this is called swagger. We had our windshield wipers when we were in our floating Buddha. Now it's the same movement where we sway from side to side. And I like to call it swagger. So we have a little bit more sway by pressing one knee down and then the other knee down. Really using the gentle momentum of the swing to stretch out both the hips and the legs and even the lower back, all the way up into the obliques, gets a nice stretch. And we're really letting ourselves lean back into the swing. So this gentle back bend, this mini back bend is coming from the upper thoracic spine. And at the same time, we keep the lower back happy. Lower back is long and happy. How's that feel, Serena?
Feels great.
Okay, good. So Serena is our supermodel here, demoing what it's like to be in the swing in the second trimester. Now, it's okay, the same low flow we just showed you with the swing really low, you could try it here. We're going to keep the swing high, but you could bring the swing down nice and low and have your feet on the ground if you really wanted more supporting your body weight with the ground. We're not going to demo it now, but just know that that's an option. You can play with bringing the swing up and down. What we're going to do is use our momentum to get the right foot on top of the left thigh. Seated pigeon, more hip openers, lots of hip openers and lunges today. Anytime you need a break, you can give yourself a little hop by holding on to the swing and using your biceps to lift yourself up. If your back feels like it's too much, it's okay to take frequent breaks. You can also hold on to the swing and lean back a little bit to get it to slide down underneath the shoulder blades. So we're aiming, there you go, we're aiming for right behind the sternum for the position of the swing. It definitely helps to hit the sweet spot. And then we're going to just add a really gentle twist from the upper body. Play with that, right? So you can twist from side to side, let the hips be heavy, and let the movement come from the upper body. And we're going to just keep in mind all of our precautionaries for pregnancy where we're not really compressing or contracting anywhere, but the swing allows us to elongate. Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, just the leg position makes lots of room for baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So side straight.
And the same with the upper body too. You know, it's not really pinching or squeezing any organs, plus you get this nice side body stretch. Just having a little swag there with the knee bent. Now, I usually do an extended leg twist, and this is one of the, it's like same as Ardha Matya Trandasana, something like that.
Ardha Trandasana?
Yeah, Matya Ardha Trandasana. So you can extend the leg here, but just see how that feels with your belly.
Extending the top leg?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if that feels, now let it slide up the leg loop. Mm-hmm. Now, if that feels like too much, then just skip it. Just keep the knee bent. But that's,
if right now, because I'm second trimester, that's okay. But third, that might be not enough
that's
room.
right. There might not be enough room. But, you know, this is a nice, gentle way of getting the leg stretch and dropping the hips. And you don't need to add a twist there. You can always keep the knee bent a little bit and just slide it up too. Okay, let's release that foot. Use your momentum, sway it out, and go to second side. Left foot on top of right thigh. Really nice. So here we're pushing the hips down as we lift the heart up and letting the head sink back into our hands. So that's our mantra. Hips heavy, heart open, head back. Head relaxed, back into our hands. Yeah, that looks great. And it must feel really good on the upper back to help rearrange the posture, especially as the chest gets bigger. We really want to help gain that lift with the upper back to relieve any tension or pain. And then I like to wag my tail. The bottom foot can explore in the space as well as the upper body, gently rocking from side to side. Just let it feel good. A little bit of playtime here. Really nice. Awesome. All right. And then what we're going to do is try to just extend that leg really slow, really gentle until you feel like it's enough of a stretch. You can always keep the knee bent if that is better for your belly, making our adjustments for the prenatal. And then slowly release that leg when you're ready. Come back to swagger. We're going to reset the spine, and we're going to try to modify our chill flow. And we're not going to come into really deep back bends today, but what we want to do is see how it feels to come into a floating child's pose. So we're going to inhale, open our arms wide. Exhale, hug. When you pull the leg loops in towards you, make sure your knees stay wide so you have room for the baby. Maybe bow in if that feels good. And then we're going to blossom for star, long arms, long legs. And then exhale, hug, and squeeze. Good. Yeah, maybe even go just halfway if that feels better. Inhale, open. Open from the heart. Exhale, round in. One more time. Inhale, open. We're going to stay here. Bring the hands to prayer. Namaste. And then squeeze the legs together as much as it feels good. We did this pose. This is the modified version with the leg loops at the knees. And then you can sink back if that feels good. I love the stretch on the neck and shoulder. So we're focusing on the upper back and the opening there. Holding our weight with our forearms. Beautiful. Exhale, go ahead and lower it down. Let's just try that half sequence one more time. Inhale, tee the arms. Exhale, hug for child. Inhale, blossom for star. Long arms, long legs. And then exhale, namaste. Squeeze the hands to prayer. Legs together. Press the hips up, lean back. Take a nice deep breath. Go ahead and drop the hips. Reach up and grab for the swing. This is as far as we're going to go in our back bend. You're going to hold on to the swing nice and high and then lift the hips. Exhale, drop the hips. So let's just undulate the spine a few times, see if that feels good. Inhale, lift. Exhale, go ahead and drop. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, drop the hips, bend the knees. So I'm going to show you how we normally go into bow. And then you can just tell me if there's a modification or some version of it that you would like to do. Okay. Most pregnant women, especially as they get bigger, are not going to want to go into the full bow. But it looks like this from Ladle. The swing slides down, you bend the knees, and you grab for the ankles, right? Because they said don't overextend the belly, this might be a great pose to skip.
Yeah.
And then we reach up and grab. So let's just keep our half chill flow there and skip bow, especially if your belly is on the bigger side now and you don't want to overstretch that.
Yeah,
right?
I think that's wise.
Yeah, let's just keep the swing up behind the heart. Let's not bring it down to the waist and press it to the lumbar. So cool. So that's part of the basic training. So I just wanted to show you those are the ones that we'll just kind of cross out and write as a void in our teacher training manual. So we remember that there's certain things that we'll just wait on in terms of creating our own personal practice. Okay, great. So from here, let's go ahead and come back to center. We're going to go into a version of skydiver. Let's come into high skydiver as our modification. So I'm going to reach for my knees. I'm going to slide up as high as I can. And this is the same thing I like to do like we did before with the bicep curls and the straddles, but you'll probably know it's a little bit easier. A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Exhale, squeeze. Let's inhale, lift, and bicep curl lifting from the heart. Long lines of energy. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. Really good. Exhale, knees together. Go. Inhale, lift. So we're going to stay here. Now, usually what I do is I like to stay lifted and try and just squeeze the legs together. I mentioned that we were going to come into the high skydiver position where the leg loops slide up for support. You can keep the leg loops at the knees. It's just going to give a little bit more of like an intense stretch through the belly. So let's try this version first, and then we'll go back. Okay. So lean back and hold on to the swing, and you'll notice there's a space between the swing and the leg loops. The hands go to prayer at the heart between that space.
Can you get it a little higher?
Get your diaper on. It is an interesting way to hang.
It's important to get it all the way up.
Get it in there. Yeah, there is a sweet spot. So bring your hands to prayer in that space, and then bring them forward. And then once you bring them forward, you can bring them out wide into a skydiver, and then the legs go wide. There you go. Beautiful. And like what I like to do here is we're simply going to flap our wings today. Okay, so arms are teed out to the sides, and then we're pressing and lifting the chest, and then exhale, coming forward. Press and lift. Press and then bow in. There you go. Press and lift and bow in. And then if you want to go a little bit forward, see how this feels? We're just going to bend the elbows, kind of like we did in our forward fold before. But we're going to keep our back flat and neutral through the lumbar spine. And then we can just gently rock from side to side. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, so far so good. Now, if we want to come into, so we're just a skydiver. If we want to come into butterfly, we're going to try and bend our knees and bring our feet together too. So our feet are in Baddha Konasana. Yeah. Yep. Awesome. Yeah. So again, it's just like go as far as it feels good and be intuitive about it. If you're like, nope, that's not for me. Baddha Konasana in general is really good, but in this position where we're pouring the belly down, the leg loops are supporting the spine. So I think that's okay. So this is our modified butterfly. Okay, bring the legs down nice and wide. Bicep curl and lift and lean back. Let the swing catch you. Yeah, really good. Now from here, I like to bend the knees, drop the hips. We're going to slide right back in. We get like a free massage on the way. This feels really good. See how I'm holding onto the leg loops? We always hold on to the leg loops. That offers a little bit more support. Okay. Excellent. So I want you to just kind of hang out and swagger. I'm going to show the folks at home what we normally do so they can see why it's so important to bring the leg loops up higher, just so you know this is what it normally looks like. You can try it if you feel like, you know, are you welcome to skip it. But usually the last one or two poses in the basic training are the ones that are better to just be on the safer side and skip for the prenatal. But just to know this is where we usually go when we do the basics. It's the same bicep curl lift, and then we come forward into skydiver. So since the belly is unsupported here, that's why I'm thinking the leg loops higher is a better option. And then we do the same thing where we bend the elbows, bend the knees. But because the belly's already moving in that direction, I like it better with a little bit more support with the leg loops higher.
I agree.
Yeah. That just makes sense. But if you guys are really eager and you're kind of closer to your second trimester, it probably would be okay to come into butterfly, but you might as well use the support of the leg loops up higher. Okay, great. So that is our chillaxin into swagger, into seated pigeon, into our chill flow, and then butterfly and skydiver. So now we're going to come into our lounging positions. I call them lounging, but they're our hip openers. We're going to come back for some lunges. So I like to always remind people to reach for their knees so you can slide up the leg loops. Like 90% of the people will hold on to the swing, and then there's no stability. So that's a really important cue, is that we have, this is our anchor point. So this is our hook, right? We stabilize the movement then. What we're going to do is do the same bicep curl lift to start, And then once we're up, we're going to go ahead and bend the right knee, rotate the left hip bone down towards the ground. Yeah. And if it naturally just slides up, if the leg loop makes its way up towards your groin, you can plant that foot down. Go ahead and try that version where you plant the foot down. We'll do like the most beginner and then we'll build up from there. I'm going to slide it into the crease a little bit more. There you go. If you wear slippery pants, it kind of like slides a little bit better.
Yeah, I got baby pants.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Now from here, I can try pressing the back arm away or pressing the front arm away. Try the two different versions. The front arm feels really good because that helps to open up the hip, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a little bit more resistance in the back end, but that opens up the groin. And then pressing the front arm, opening up the hip. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and sink back into our chilaxin. We're going to come back to neutral to change sides. Bicep curl lift, extend the legs, bend the left knee, and then rotate the right hip bone down towards the ground. Yeah. And if that naturally happens that this leg loop slides up, which it will, then you just plant the foot down. So it's like I'm in a side lunge, and then we can practice pressing the front arm forward. So we kind of push and pull a little bit in this space. So I just got a good adjustment in my lower back.
Are you holding the swing and the foot loop here on this right hand?
No, just the leg loops in these positions. Okay. Yeah, leg loops is the key to all these poses. Yeah. Good. So we just go back and forth, and then we're gonna sink our hips down, pull that right knee back up, and land it in chilaxin. Just take a moment to reset, and then we'll try spreading the leg loops out. So I always say if you want to do a more yin restorative, bring one foot down, do one side, and then switch and do the other side. Now I made the leg loops to spread out, and this really helps if the tenderness behind the knees is creating like discomfort, that we can actually extend them from the back of the knee. And they will bunch up, so you have to kind of use a little bit of magic, but spread them out so they go from the back of the knee to the groin. Not down to the ankle, but yeah, up. Yeah, there you go. That's the direction. Awesome. And then the same thing, once we have it spread out, we're going to reach for the leg loops, pull ourselves up into this bicep curl. Then we're just going to bend the right knee, and we're still going to rotate our left hip down towards the ground, but we're not going to go very far. That's it. So you feel that stretch? That's like an amazing stretch through the psoas there. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit more of a modified version. Then we can sink our hips back and try for the other side. Most people find this variation way more comfortable. They're like, why didn't you show me it spread out? Do you want to try the other side? Mm-hmm. Bend the left knee, extend the right leg. Beautiful. And then if we come back to center, we can actually try our butterfly position again. See if this feels good. So now you're fully supported across the whole leg. So skydiver, bend the knees, bend the elbows. Is that okay? Yeah. So that should feel really good. It's a big opener through the hips and through the chest. Really good preparation for opening up the spine. And then we're going to just sink our hips back. Come on into chilaxin. If you drop your hips and bend the knees a little bit more, we'll slide back in. Now let's go to the most advanced version, and you can always just pick which one you like, right? So whenever you need a break, if you're hanging out in the swing and you just need a pause from the tension behind the arms, you can just bring your feet back down to the ground too. So that's always nice to have an intermission. Sometimes the body will get sensitive if it's not used to the pressure, and then in time it actually feels good. But frequent breaks is what I recommend for more restorative practice. So let's reach for our knees and slide up for our lunges. These would be kind of the biggest lunges that we're going to do. We're going to bicep curl, open the legs, bend the right knee, and then we're going to press the back leg loop away as we rotate. Press the back arm away. Yes, and that'll keep it from sliding up, right? And then my front arm is kind of pulling up towards the sky, so it's lifting the chest. Okay? Yeah. There you go. Does that feel amazing? Yeah. And then we're going to do a little roundabout. Keep holding on. Sink the hips back. We're going to bend the left knee, pull ourselves up, and then press the back arm away. Yeah, when we press the back arm away, it keeps the leg loop closer to the knee. Beautiful. So the more that we relax into it, as well as lifting from the heart, then we get that stretch through the quad and hip flexor. One more time, we're going to do a more advanced version to see how it feels. Come on back and relax in between if you feel like you need a break. It's always good to reset the hips by coming through swagger. I call this the dancing Shiva or the full Shiva. So you can try it with a hook or just skip the hook. You can come into the lunge. Right? So we bend the right knee. Yep. And then you can bend the left knee and try and grab for the foot. It's kind of like what we did on the ground, right? But the ground was helping us. There you go. Ta-da! This is our full Shiva. And then, I wouldn't try it if you're too far along, but you can hook the foot in your elbow crease is typically the full Shiva. Let's just keep either a straight leg or bend the knee with a straight arm for today. Just want to show you the different variations that you can do in the swing. So we're going to bend the right knee and grab for the foot if that's available.
You do it much better on this side.
Isn't that amazing? The swing is like truth serum. You can see that one side is a little bit easier than the other. That's true for all of us. Okay, great. You're spring loaded, so release nice and slow. Now for my friends that are super stretchy, I would say just pull in and engage your joints, right? Instead of splaying out all the way, just pull in and engage, because we're going to come into Hanuman. Now Hanuman is a really strong pose. So this would be, we're leaving restorative land and going into like, this is, the most advanced of the basics. So we come into our bicep curl straddle. You can press the arms away. This is hummingbird. Remember, we hold on to the leg loops. Let's come on back. Yeah. See how difficult it is? Yeah. We're like unstable. That's why I call them stabilizers.
I caught myself halfway through.
You're like, oh. Yeah. It gets on a rocky ship then. So if we try to press our arms away, that's really strong in the upper body, right? We feel like it pulls the legs apart. And then we can try doing that with a Hanuman where we just, good. See, now I call it hummingbird. You get the little woo fluttering of the wings. And then we can try to do that to the side.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a little much. We'll come on back first and then come up, right? Come into the lunge and then try to extend. It's going to be a little intense behind the knees. So maybe only do one arm, right? And then the other arm, and then I call it seesaw. And then you can gently rock from side to side, right? Whee! That's kind of fun. Yeah, if both arms doesn't work out, you can just rock, right, for seesaw, but that's our Hanuman, which is really intense. So yeah, don't recommend it. All right, come on back to center. Let's go ahead and take the leg loops off one at a time. I'm sure the knees have had enough, but that kidney point behind the knees is actually really good to release the lower back if there's lower back pain. Make sure both leg loops come off and you return to a sumo squat before you try to stand up, right? Hold on to the swing, just walk it back, and come on up to stand. Oh, really good. We're gonna do a little bit of a review and come back with a cocooning. Okay, and then from there, we will be back with our level 2 next time with our floor and standing and low inversion exercises to complete the prenatal training. So stick with us. I'm going to go ahead and just make a solid video for you guys to follow for cocooning. If you even want to come home from a long day and relax and take a nap in the swing, it's so amazing. So let's just have that as its own final relaxation. We will be right back.